Hi, it's Nick from DIY Reno Nick, and in this video we're going to be looking at painting kitchen cabinets. We're going to be painting these two. We want them to fit in with the X-Display kitchen that we bought and fitted about 12 months ago. So this is the kitchen that we fitted, and it was an X-Display kitchen. In fact, it was an L shape, and we cut it down and then moved it out to either side. So we're short of a couple of M panels and a couple of units. The two units we bought are from a different supplier, so we want to paint those now so they match in with this colour. But whether you're painting two units or you're going to paint your whole kitchen, it's a good and easy way of transforming your kitchen. A few of the things you're going to need a high density foam roller. It goes on with a nice smooth finish and doesn't leave any marks. We've also bought little rollers that don't have any metal here to get right into the corner. So the next thing you are going to need is masking tape. We're using frog tape for this because it's quite good at controlling the paint bleed. We've not been sponsored for this, and there's lots of different masking tapes out there that all do the job just as well. We're going to put in the description links for the various products we're using. Okay, so this is the paint we're going to be using. This is a Valspar furniture paint, and you don't actually need to prime the surface before you use this, even on the kitchen units themselves. As you can see, it's already had some use because we were short of an M panel. So this is just a sheet of MDF that we painted with this. And unless you get down on your knees and look at it really close, you'd never know. We just took an offcut of the kitchen into the shop and they scanned it and then colour matched to this to produce that paint. Okay, so whilst we were there, we also had some of this mix. This is basically an emulsion, and we put two blocks either side of the same colour matched paint. So it's basically drawn the whole kitchen down now to this wall. So when we paint these units to match, it should work in really well with the rest of the kitchen. So the next part is to decide where we're going to start and stop painting. We're going to start just in this corner here, and we're going to run a bead of masking tape down. If we do get a bit of a funny edge down here after we pull the masking tape off, we've got a backup plan because I've got some sealant which is the exact same colour as this panelling. So I could put a really neat bead down there. In fact, we've recently made a video that shows how to do that. And then we're going to finish by just going around this corner a small amount. We don't want to paint right up to this edge because otherwise we'll get paint bleeding around inside the cabinet, which will look a mess. We don't want to paint inside of the cabinet because that will chip every time you put something in. But we are going to put this black melamine iron-on trim around here. We're hoping that'll be quite resilient to the door closing, so that's not going to get chipped. When it is closed, you won't be able to see the face of the cabinet at all. Even if this door's a different colour, it wouldn't matter because this is black. You wouldn't be able to see it. So hopefully that'll work really well and give us a nice neat finish. So let's get taping. The one thing that is really important when you're using masking tape is getting it right into the corner. And also, if you can, run your nail right down there, pushing the masking tape hard down on that edge. So that does help to stop some of the paint bleed. And you see it goes a slightly darker colour, which shows how much you pushed it into position. It's time to start prepping. Now, this is a nerve-wracking bit because we can't actually get these off very easily if it goes wrong. So time for the truth. Well, it's actually going on quite nice. It's definitely worthwhile getting the right roller. A bit. I think this is actually going to work out exactly how we want it. Hopefully. It's actually covering really nice. Just have to get the little roller now right into the corner. Wherever it is. In case you're wondering why that's too big, we're just trying to save a bit of money and we've already got this. It should do the same job, which it is. So we'll just run a paintbrush down the inside to get it right into that gap. And then we'll just run the bigger roller just onto where we've run with the smaller roller to keep the texture the same. We do that all the way around, a couple of coats, and hopefully it's going to look quite good. As I said, just go around the corner a tiny bit, just so we get the edge more than anything. Okay, so we've given this one coat now. I'm going to give it another coat. We need to give it probably about 3 to 4 hours to dry. And one important thing that we found is you need to roll it in the same direction all the way across the panel. So don't be tempted to go across, because otherwise you might change the way the light hits the panel. At the minute it's shiny, but it's going to dry as a matte finish. Okay, so we've given it 2 coats now, and actually it's come out much better than I was expecting. It's got a really sort of uniform colour and a nice texture to it, so the roller's done its job. And it is reasonably scratch resistant, so I guess you could come around to this edge here if the door's the same colour as the units, and it would all blend in. We're still going to put the black around because we're putting black doors up, so it'll just look neater. But so far, pretty happy with it. Okay, so we're going to start putting the black melamine around now. We had to practice on the other cabinet, and it's not actually that difficult. I started off by putting it onto the outside edge first, really following the cabinet. And then once I got the 2 outside edges on, I then put the piece in the centre. It's really easy to cut with a Stanley knife. Obviously just making a rough cut now. As you can see, you just go straight through it. And that's it cut. Because this one's slightly longer, I'll cut this in place afterwards. And we just use the iron to heat it into position. And if you get it slightly wrong, you can actually reheat it and then move it a little bit. So it's not the end of the world if it doesn't go exactly where you want it. Now I'm trying to get the outside edge really nice, straight and flat. And then you can cut the inside edge back with a Stanley knife if you want to. Okay, so I've put it roughly into position, then I'm just going to use the iron just to fix the top part. And then slowly just keep the outside edge square, moving the iron down. As I said, that's moved over a little bit, so you just heat it up and move it over. You need to keep the iron moving, because if you stop, you'll actually burn the melamine. And obviously just watch your fingers. Ow! Like that. So we're just using a little travel iron. It's actually just £10. So I actually needed to move that over a little bit. It wasn't quite where I wanted it. So it's that easy, just heat it up, move it over and fix it back down. Actually it's a really nice finish. As you mentioned, I'll put a link to this in the description. So I'm going to put this piece on now and leave the 2 end bits stuck out. Again, we're just going to get that outside edge because that's the important one into place. And then just start to fix it with the iron. Make sure you don't pull the Stanley knife off. Ow! It does need maybe 3 or 4 passes. But keep the iron moving, as we've said. So what I'm going to do now is cut this piece slightly longer. This time, this is what I found was the easiest, without buying a special tool, just to put the set square against the edge, pulling melamine hard up against it, and then just really carefully cut. That gives you a nice square finish. So if you start with that butting up against there and put this on and then cut that one with this set square. You get so far along, but don't go all the way to the end. Check it's where you want it, which it is. That's what I found was the easiest, is just to put that into there to get yourself a nice square edge. Don't use too much pressure because otherwise you'll pull the melamine off and you won't get a square cut. And you can just iron that into place. And you can, if you've got a rag or a little wooden dowel, run that along, just make sure it's fixed. So obviously that'll still be really hot. Again, I just use a set square. Make sure you've got a nice sharp Just be very careful because of your fingers. That's the case then, as in the same on the top. Once I've got all the beads on, then just run it again around with the iron, and then just make sure that it's all fixed by just testing it. If anything moves, like just there, just go over it again with the iron. Okay, so it's all finished now. It's worked out much better than we thought it was going to work out. We've got a really nice finish, exactly the same colour as the unit, a fraction of the cost of putting any kind of panel around here. We put the melamine round on the inside, which has worked out really well and given a nice clean edge. That's worked out so well, we're going to do this in the utility now. So if you've really enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more videos, if you could hit the subscribe button, which is hopefully about here somewhere, that would really help us, and hit the like as well.